Now, the DualSense Edge controller is by far the most premium controller that you can get for the PS5, and honestly, I absolutely love it. But with a lot of pros comes a little bit of cons. So stay tuned, because in this video, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of this controller, my long-term experience with it, and if I think you should go ahead and get one in 2024. Let's get right into it. So when it comes to the DualSense Edge, I've had this controller for about a year now, and I use this controller all the time. Every time I play my PlayStation, I'm using this controller. I haven't touched the stock controller at all, and I absolutely love it. By far, it's held up really well, and it still looks brand new, which is really crazy. Now, if you've seen my videos before, you know I usually start off with the pros first, but with this controller, I am going to start off with the cons. One, because there's not too many, and two, because I want to switch it up. So the cons with this controller, the very first one I want to talk about, and my main thing I've noticed while using this for the past year, has to be the battery life. Like, this thing only lasts like 2 to 4 hours, and then I have to get up, get the charger and plug it in, and then play with it charging, which honestly isn't too big of a deal. I mean, the charger they give you in the box actually is like 6 feet long, so super easy to reach to your console or a wall mount or anything like that. But the fact that I have to charge it and get up every now and then kind of sucks, but that is the main con I have with this controller, is the fact that the charge on the controller doesn't last too long. But with everything that this controller does, I guess it kind of makes sense because it's working really hard. Besides that, the second con I have, and this is kind of nitpicking, is the fact that you have no customization options with this controller. I do also have the Xbox Elite controller, and with that, you can actually customize the whole controller on Xbox Design Lab, and it's really cool. I wish PlayStation will go ahead and give that option, but I don't think they will, just because they never have. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Enough with the cons, let's talk about the pros. And there are so many great things about this controller that I absolutely love. Like, it feels way more premium compared to the stock PS5 controller that comes in the box. It's a little bit more heavy. There's a lot more detail on the triggers. You actually have a little bit of grip. Same thing kind of right here with the insides. There's actually like a rubber grip, which makes it like a little bit more comfortable when playing. Now, another thing when it comes to the look and style is, yes, you get all the beautiful little details and a lot more premium feel, but you also get the slick look on the controller, which just makes it look super premium. Really beautiful. I love this controller. I love how it feels in the hands compared to the original one. It's a really great look, a really great style, and it just matches the PS5 aesthetic perfectly. Now, the next thing I want to actually talk about is the functionality of this controller. If you're coming from just the regular PS5 controller and you want to get this, I definitely think you should, because for me personally, it has elevated and improved my gameplay quite a bit. One of the main reasons is because of right here in the back. With the typical triggers, you only have one setting, and that's pulling down and it going all the way to the end of the controller. With this one, if you're playing a first-person shooter like myself, I go down, and then once I click on that setting, it's literally just a tap and it's a quick shot. So that is something I love. If you're playing racing games, you can still adjust it and do things like that. And no matter which setting you have it on, you still do get that haptic feedback. So that is one of the main things I absolutely love about this controller, is the fact that you can adjust those settings. Something else I love about this controller is the fact that, yes, you have the ability to add buttons right here and lay them to whatever you want. So typically I use crouch here, and then I use sprint over here. But that's not all I love about it. I love the fact that they give you 2 different options when installing these buttons. So this is the one I chose. It's kind of like a half circle coming out of the actual controller. The other ones it comes with are kind of like these like wing buttons, which are a little more flat. Personally, I don't like these at all, but I do love the fact that they give you an option to pick which one's more comfortable and which one's more suited to your gameplay. I think Sony did a really good job with that. And we'll talk about more of the accessories later, because the fact that Sony gives you so many accessories for the price that this is just really cool. Now, the next main thing I love really doesn't have to do with the functionality of the overall controller, but it's definitely going to help with the long-term use of it. Now, I know most of the time and in the past, a lot of my PlayStation controllers, mainly the PS4 ones, have gotten stick drift. This one has not gotten stick drift yet, but for example, if a stick does go out, I do have the option to go ahead and just lift this pad right here. I haven't done it in a long time. Sorry, I finally got the release button. It's on the back, but what this does is it actually releases the front panel right here. And if you do get stick drift, you literally can just remove the whole joystick altogether and replace it for like 15 or 20 bucks. This right here is by far my favorite feature when it comes to this controller right here, because Sony definitely thought about the players, and instead of being like, oh, you have to spend money on a whole new controller, which is kind of what you have to do with the Xbox One, you can just get this for like $20 and you're good to go. So that is by far amazing. I love it, Sony. Keep doing what you're doing because I love this. The next thing I want to talk about with this controller is the accessories. Now, they do give you this hard case right here, which I think is really, really nice. It actually has a little charging port right here. So if you want to put your controller in the case and have it charging from the back, you do have that option. Now, I do like the case, especially when traveling, but when it comes to the long-term consumer part, I barely use this thing. It just like sits in the drawer, mainly because I don't go anywhere, and then I use the case for the first month, but I would play my PS5 so much that I would consistently have to keep unzipping it, zipping it, taking it out, doing all that stuff. I was just like, I'm just gonna leave it out and like leave it on my TV stand rather than put it in here. But hey, some people may actually use this, and honestly, I think it's a really, really good feature, especially when traveling. Now, on the inside of this case, once you open it up, it does come with the charger on the top. That's actually in my living room. I forgot to put it in there, but that charger is like 6 feet long. It's a lot of cord, so you definitely will find a place to charge it whenever the battery runs out. On top of that, like I said, it does come with these like little wing tips you could add in the back too if you don't like the circular buttons. And then it also comes with additional grips for the joystick if you want to change it depending on your gameplay. I absolutely love this, and I love how they included everything with this whole bundle. Now, when it comes to the price, I believe it's $200, and I know it's kind of a lot of money, but trust me, the fact that you can change this out rather than buying a whole new controller makes it completely worth it. And like I said, I have had this thing for a year and there's not really any scratches. It still works really, really good. None of the buttons have like messed up or done anything like that. It is still working perfectly fine. The only complaint I have is the battery, but the fact that they give you a long charger definitely makes up for it. Now, that's pretty much it when it comes to the overall review of this controller. If you have any questions or comments about this controller, let me know down in the comment section below and I will do my best to get to them. Also, the link to this controller will be in the description if you're interested in it. And like I said before, if you've already used this controller or if you have it, let me know your experience as well. I'm very interested to hear kind of what you think about it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.